Magnesium is not a solution for constipation, and especially chronic constipation. So let's frame this in a way that we can understand both the idea of magnesium's benefits and the magnesium that keeps being prescribed for constipation. So first and foremost, the magnesium that can induce diarrhea or induce the bowel movement or the release of your bowels is what we call inorganic magnesiums. These are magnesium hydroxide, magnesium sulfate, magnesium oxide. They have been known for a very long time to alleviate constipation in a very temporary way. And that would be the only time that you would need to maybe consider it, as you've been constipated and you need to get things moving, but it is not going to address the root cause. Now, then we have magnesiums that we call organic magnesiums. These are magnesiums that are liganded or combined with things like citrate, malate, threonate, lysine, and these are called organic magnesiums. These do not help with constipation. And how magnesium works is it brings water into the intestines. So it certainly isn't going to be an option long-term either, because it's going to disrupt your electrolytes, it's going to disrupt your hydration. Whereas the other magnesiums we use in a supplemental way to increase our energy, to increase our neurological function, to increase our bone strength, and so on. So the organic magnesiums are what we're going to focus on for the health benefits of magnesium, keeping the levels of magnesium up in our bodies. Magnesium citrate, magnesium lysine, threonate, malate, and there are others. These are all very important for our health and wellness in regards to magnesium. The magnesium salts, oxides, hydroxides, and sulfates should only be used when the constipation has been prolonged and you need to get it to release, but then we need to address the underlying causes. So what are the underlying causes of constipation? We know immediately from constipation that our microbiome is in a state of dysbiosis. So we have to focus on our microbiome. We can do that adding water, lots of water throughout the day, adding probiotics, adding prebiotics. Just do that in a very deliberate way, because you don't want to go from constipation to bloating and gassing. So you add what we call fibers, plant-based and even animal-based fibers, such as mucin and glucosaminoglycans. We need to rebuild the microbiota that is clearly in a state of dysbiosis. That will perpetuate movement. It also, another way we can stimulate our motor migrating complex or our bowel movements is through our enteric nervous system. There's also some people that suffer from constipation because of enteric nervous system. This is where meditation, this is where using fermented foods can come in and stimulate essentially our vagal nerve. And there are other techniques that haven't been clinically proven, but certainly are out there when you look into them, that may in fact help your vagal nerve function or enteric nerve system. And then finally, diet. High-fat diets tend to over time create constipation, as well as essentially highly processed foods can lead to constipation over time. So move your diet into a much more whole food based diet, and you'll experience fewer and fewer episodes of constipation. And then for women, you can actually journal and monitor how the hormone fluctuations can influence constipation. And that's an episode for a different time, and we can deep dive into how the hormones are affecting constipation, and especially in women through what we call the estrobolome. But just monitor that, because that can be an indicator of when to alter maybe your dietary intake throughout the month. These are tools that I want you to take home and use, because magnesium is an enormously beneficial element. It's a mineral that our body needs to do so many things, and yet we shouldn't rely on it for something like constipation. And we will deep dive later on magnesium for those of you that are interested in all of its benefits. And high dosing magnesium can actually reduce its intake or its uptake biologically. So we'll deep dive that in later. So check below for more information, and